going to briefly be going through, an overview of international trade, export opportunities, just to kind of provide a foundation for our panel discussion in a minute. And I'm going to start by just giving a brief overview of the current climate for international trade. So you understand, my perspective is really more on the export side of things, helping U.S. companies to export their products and services internationally. But I know some of you may also be interested in importing, and so I'll try to integrate that as well. Just in terms of recently, it's at least on the export side of things, it's been the past several years have been very strong years for both Massachusetts and U.S. exports. We've had record years, year after year, on our export performance, and that's really attributed to a number of happenings in the world. First of all, the U.S. dollar has really made our exports very competitive in recent years. The dollar has been relatively weak up until very recently, and that obviously makes our exports more affordable and more attractive to buyers overseas that want to purchase our products. Recently, we've started to see a little bit of a reversal with that, and so with the dollar strengthening very recently, also we have this whole global economic crisis that's very quickly spreading throughout the world. And so if you look in very recent weeks, like even just last week, the U.S. announced that our exports, I think for the last month, actually took a hit. And that's really the first time in several years that that's happened. And so we might see a little bit of a correction or a little bit of reversal with our export growth in recent years. But certainly up until very, very recently, exports have been absolutely booming. And obviously our imports have steadily been increasing as well, although because our exports have been so strong, our balance of trade has been favorably helped by our export performance. The other thing that hopefully is going to be getting better soon is also shipping costs. You don't necessarily think of something simple as shipping costs, but really with the cost of fuel has really been increasing shipping costs, and they've really been getting out of control recently at least. So hopefully there will be a little bit of relief on that end. The other thing to keep in mind is that this is really an unprecedented time for free trade access for U.S. firms. Up until the past 8 to 10 years, the U.S. has not participated in many free trade agreements. If you compare the U.S. to other countries, we really have not been very active in partnering with other countries to open free trade. And when you do that, you're allowing duty-free access for U.S. goods in those markets and vice versa. And up until probably about 10 years ago, the only free trade agreements we had were with Israel and NAFTA, Canada and Mexico. And so it's been pretty prolific, the number of free trade agreements that we've signed on. I have a list here of the ones that are active right now. So basically U.S. companies have duty-free access to all of these countries, and there are several others in development. There are 3 major ones that are kind of on the books now that are kind of awaiting approval: Colombia, Panama, and Korea. So if those are passed, and it's probably going to be a while, especially with change in administration and all of that. I think I even read that President Bush was quietly trying to lobby in his meeting with Obama to try to push for the Colombia Free Trade Agreement. So we'll see. I'm sure it's probably not. There are a lot more other important things happening in the world right now, but those 3 agreements are a possibility in the coming years.